Hello and welcome to this introduction of the Barwon Global Listed Private Equity Fund. My name is Kate Hayward and with me today is Bob Liu, Portfolio Manager of Barwon's Global Investments team. Barwon has been investing in listed private equity for over 15 years and is considered a leading manager in the sector. Bob, for those not familiar with the Barwon Global Listed Private Equity Fund, can you tell us how it provides exposure to this equity class?
Hi Kate. The Barwon Global Listed Private Equity Fund offers investors exposure to a high-quality global private equity portfolio and exposure to the return premium from the private equity asset class. The main difference is that it offers daily liquidity. We're able to offer daily liquidity as the fund only invests in listed stocks which trade on major stock exchanges. These stocks in turn hold or invest in private equity assets and portfolios. The structures are typically listed investment companies, listed trusts, or listed partnerships. There's a surprisingly large global universe of almost 800 listed private equity stocks with a market cap of $3 trillion through which you can invest in PE portfolios.
Bob, so tell me please, what benefits does this have over a traditional unlisted private equity allocation?
Good question. For the investor, liquidity is the key benefit of using listed PE over traditional unlisted private equity funds. Building a global private equity portfolio using unlisted partnerships can take years as you wait for capital to be invested. Allocations are also hard to change due to their illiquid nature. Our listed PE fund is daily priced at NAV with no application or redemption caps. You can invest today, you can adjust it tomorrow. The second key benefit is access. An investor of any size or scale can access global private equity through our fund. Finally, we offer transparency. You know what you're buying. It's a ready-baked portfolio diversified by sector, geography, manager, and maturity of private equity assets.
I'm often asked by investors where this fund fits in a portfolio. What are your thoughts on this?
Investors around the world are increasingly recognizing the growing importance of private equity as a funding source for companies, which allow them to stay private for longer. And of course, the return premium delivered by the private equity asset class over multiple cycles. These factors have been driving higher portfolio allocations to private equity, initially from the large global institutional investors, but more recently among the private wealth and high net worth investor base. Some clients use our listed PE fund as a complement alongside their unlisted private equity program. For some who require more liquidity to add or adjust their position, they see our fund as representing their entire PE exposure. For many, it falls into a growth alternatives allocation, and that is the underlying exposure of the strategy. Long-term returns are determined by the returns on the underlying PE investments in our portfolio.
Bob, can you talk us through an example of an underlying investment in the fund?
Yes, certainly. HG Capital has been a long-term investment for the fund. HG is Europe's fourth largest private equity manager. Based in London, they have an outstanding track record spanning over 20 years as an independent firm. They are the leading private equity investor in technology and enterprise software companies. HG Capital Trust is publicly listed on the London Stock Exchange. It has a market capitalisation of almost £2 billion, and all it does is invest in HG managed private equity funds and co-invest in HG deals. This long-running listed fund has delivered compound returns to shareholders of 17% per annum over a 20-year period. And it's one example of how our fund can access a high-quality private equity portfolio and manager through the listed markets.
Thanks, Bob, for joining us today. The fund is priced daily with applications and redemptions daily and is available to wholesale investors. Please reach out to either myself or our distribution team for further information, and thanks for your time today.